Well, time to talk about River City Girls 2. Again. Yeah, so I thought I was done with River City Girls in general with my critique video on this game. Please go watch that first. But nope, some DLC was put out for the game alongside a free update that adds a couple new things. But first, I want to talk about a few corrections and things that some people pointed out in the RCG2 critique that I want to respond to. So remember when I talked about how every playable character in this game felt too samey? Yeah, I was completely wrong about that. In fact, I was so wrong that someone in the comments thought I was on crack. The thing that makes every character unique in River City Girls 2 is their combos. They all excel in different fields, like dealing with single enemies, air combos, or crowd control. For the sake of this video, I tried to actually learn and improvise some combos in a brand new playthrough, and out of the 6 characters in the base roster, I found Kunio and Marian to be the most enjoyable. Kunio because of his amazing air combo and juggling game, and Marian for her unique command grabs and incredible crowd control. Speaking of combos, yeah, guard breaks. I completely forgot to mention this new mechanic, and I wish I did because it's really cool. Basically, there's a purple meter below the SP meter that fills up when you hit enemies, just like the SP meter. When 1 to all 3 segments of the bar are filled up, you can perform a guard break by holding down the heavy attack button. Guard breaks are meant for stopping enemies from blocking, but it works as an amazing OTG attack for combo extensions. The guard breaks for each character are different, but Kunio's is especially good since it's also technically a projectile. Something else I should bring up is that the secret areas can actually be accessed in a regular playthrough. That's totally on me, since I found some of them during my New Game Plus playthrough, so I just assumed they were locked behind New Game Plus. Though, honestly, this just makes New Game Plus less interesting, because aside from collecting the gears to unlock Soul and Jam, you're just playing the game again with all of your character progress intact. I also mentioned that Mihoko is still holding her dog in River City Girls 2 in the new cat cafe she's in, but that's actually a cat. They just edited Mihoko's dog from her dialogue portrait in River City Girls 1 to look more like a cat in this game. I completely forgot how her dog looked like in the first game since it's been so long since I played it, but yeah, this is a cat apparently. Anyway, what was I gonna talk about?
Hell yeah! Whose face should we break first?
Oh yeah. So on April Fool's Day last year, WayForward put out a tweet announcing that Bimmy and Jammy, 2 mini-bosses from Double Dragon Neon, would be coming to River City Girls 2 as DLC. Obviously, it was a joke, but hey, it was kind of funny. A few weeks later, though, a reveal trailer for actual DLC was put out, revealing Billy and Jimmy Lee as new playable characters. It was originally going to come out in the summer, but got pushed back to fall and then finally dropped on November 12th. Not on Steam, though, it came out later on December 3rd. I would say this was ridiculous, especially with how little the DLC offers, but RCG2 already had a constantly changing release window, so I'm not surprised by this, sadly. Before I talk about the Lee brothers themselves, there's some other stuff that was released in a free update alongside the DLC. Firstly, every character gets 3 new color palettes, which seem to be highly requested since one of the first mods I ever saw for this game was to add different palettes. Some of the palettes we got were pretty great and actually reference other Kunio-kun and Double Dragon characters, while some of them look like they just messed with the hue of the regular palettes in Photoshop and called it a day. Secondly, there's 2 new shops. First is Devil's Candy, located in Uptown. A nice little nod to the manga of the same name that Rem does the art for. The second one is Season's Beatings, located in Crosstown. It's a shop run by Miho that rotates its items every few months to match a certain holiday. Specifically Valentine's Day, Easter, Independence Day, summer, I guess, Halloween, and a non-specific winter holiday. Miho is a character that's appeared a couple of times in the Kunio-kun series, with her first and major appearance being in Shodai Neketsu Koha Kunio-kun, or River City Renegade as it's now called in English. In RCG2, she's voiced by Jaden Animations. I mean, the voice cast is already filled to the brim with YouTubers that I'm numb to it at this point. Jaden also sounds pretty numb, since she sounds like she recorded her lines at like 5 in the morning.
You'll love these prices. Anything else? Find what you wanted? Snow joke. Come back anytime.
And lastly, there's a new Double Dragon themed dojo in downtown. Not really much to say, but hey, at least there's more than one training room in the game now. And speaking of Double Dragon, like I said earlier, Billy and Jimmy are the 2 new DLC characters. On the main menu, there's a new DLC button that, when you select it, it plays a short cutscene giving you a little backstory for why the Lee brothers are involved. Jimmy tells Billy that he sees the other characters beating up people in River City and wants to join in. Billy initially refuses to join Jimmy, saying that he put fighting behind him in favor of teaching. But Jimmy then mentions several past enemies he encountered recently, probably because of Ken and the Yakuza turning River City into a shithole. This, along with Jimmy mentioning Marian fighting along with the others, brothers, convinces Billy to join with his brother to start saving the city with them. After that, you get a pop-up advertising the DLC and a button to press that'll let you buy it like it's a fucking Xbox 360 game. The DLC also adds a new song by Megan McDuffie called We're the Double Dragons. It's alright. Of course, Megan kills it on the production like with most of the game's OST, but Aaron and Danny's rapping is pretty mixed. Apparently, they both wrote the lyrics, but you can clearly tell Aaron probably wrote most of it. It does line up with the Lee brothers' personalities in this game, which is cool, I guess. Aaron's rapping is really not that great, especially if you're somehow familiar with his other work.
I'm tired of you running around in such a fucking hassle. I go through shit and then you're in another fucking castle.
But what really confuses me is Dan rapping. You know, the guy that's the lead vocalist and frontman of his own band and has an incredible vocal range. It would have been awesome to see just Megan and NSP collaborate on a track for this game. Hell, you could even get Twerp in there as the backing band. The song only plays on the radio you'll find in every hideout, which you can hit to play different tracks you unlock throughout the game in a set order. And only through a crappy radio filter.
Oh yeah, double dragons, Billy and Jimmy, here we go. That's me. The dragons are here, you ain't seeing double. We're gonna break your bones till they turn into rubble. River City needs protection from the evil crime boss. So we'll punch and we'll kick till your eye starts to cross.
Yeah, you can easily look up the full song on YouTube in actual decent quality, but it's surprising that this brand new song that they made for this DLC, which they used in every trailer for it, is only used in something that the player will most likely miss. If anything, it makes me wish that there was a jukebox system that wasn't just for the hideout. Actually, that could have been a perfect app to add to your character's phone to let you play the songs you unlock throughout the game. That actually would have been perfect. Damn, WayForward should hire me. Gameplay-wise, the Lee brothers are actually both really fun. Their moves are inspired by and directly ripped from several Double Dragon games. Even Rage of the Dragons, which was infamously made without the Double Dragon license. Billy is straight up just my favorite character in this game now. His combos are fun to do, his guard break is really good, and he's just a good all-rounder. Jimmy is also really fun, but he feels a bit underbaked. Like, it feels like all they did with him was just replace Billy's moves with new ones without too much thought into how they would work as a full kit. You still unlock moves by either leveling up or buying them at the dojo, and you can encounter Boro as the replacement for Billy and or Jimmy if you're playing as them. But honestly, why do these martial arts masters still gotta buy their own damn moves? It's just annoying and repetitive to buy moves in general, since grinding your XP to learn moves while you're fighting is better than grinding money to buy them. Speaking of repetitive, the way the Lee brothers are integrated into the story is unfortunately exactly what I expected. You just play through the same story as any other character with pretty much nothing changed. The only thing that's new here are Billy and Jimmy's quips about whatever is happening in the story. Sometimes their reactions to things are different, like how other characters still refer to them as teenagers.
What were you children doing out of class? Did you not hear the bell?
Children? Lady, I'm in my 20s.
I'm not sure that's helping.
But since character dialogue needs to be consistent with the partner dialogue and the cutscenes, you'll hear similar jokes and responses from the Lee brothers that the other characters will make. This is so that characters interacting won't sound too off or weird when, say, Jimmy responds or reacts to what Kunio or Misako or Ricky are saying. The voice acting from the Lee brothers, like in RCG1, is fine, depending on who's saying it. Dan's very zen interpretation of Billy was weird at first, but it's kinda grown on me, and it does lead to some pretty funny bits at times.
Well, there's a Yakuza crew who plays there, but every time I join in, they hurl b-balls at my face.
I can relate to them entirely in this matter.
Head over there and help me destroy them.
Can I ask why? We share no quote-unquote beef with these individuals.
Aaron's Jimmy voice, however, just makes me cringe with how much he just tries to play up how radical and braggadocious he's trying to be.
Hell yeah! Finally! I'm so pumped to be out of there!
See? I told you we weren't actually lost.
Or maybe we were so lost, we got unlost from wandering around.
Like, how is Aaron's voice acting from the Awesome series 10 times better than any professional voice role he's ever had?
Victor. Thanks. No. No. No! 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 Thanks!
But what makes the somewhat new dialogue more weird than it should is that there's no new dialogue from the other characters, which is how we got characters like Miss Megumi and Ken referring to the fully grown Lee brothers as teenagers. Not even new dialogue from the other Double Dragon characters like Williams, the Obobo brothers, Skullmageddon, or even Marian, which makes the dialogue before and after you beat her just confusing as hell, even when they try to make fun of how strange it is.
Step aside. I'll take care of these pesky teenagers.
I mean, I'm not, but I'll take that as a compliment, I guess.
The customers will soon be dead.
Customer? Oh, because we mentioned your store. Yeah, her head's definitely broken.
Then perhaps we should aim for that head. Get her back to normal.
Got it.
Plus, the manga cutscenes are also unchanged, which brings their claim of full story integration into question when the Lee brothers are not even in group shots with the other characters. The update also adds a couple new achievements, which just involve going to the new shops and doing stuff with the Lee brothers. The only notable one being the one where two players have to fight each other as Billy and Jimmy with friendly fire on, and one of them has to win. It's a nice homage to a recurring thing in their home series, but yeah, that's the entire DLC. It's extremely underwhelming, even if it's just being able to play as Billy and Jimmy. There is a wealth of wasted potential written all over this thing. The full story integration is barely even there. If you're gonna force more YouTubers, I mean the Lee brothers, into your game, don't do it halfway. In my opinion, the best way to go about this is to give the Lee brothers their own campaign to play through. Have it be something like the Lee brothers trying to find the rest of the main cast, but end up getting caught in their own tangent when they get themselves involved in other events happening in River City during the main campaign. Maybe they could fight a boss in downtown that somehow causes the blackout. Or maybe the campaign could be a prequel, further expanding on the Lee brothers and Marian moving into River City, and having Billy and Jimmy save Marian again from maybe the Black Warriors or even the Yakuza. Maybe the campaign could have brought back unused content like the enemies. Maybe revisit some bosses from River City Girls 1 with new moves. Or maybe fully realize the unused Godai 2.0 boss. There's so many ways they could have made this $8 DLC kind of worth it. Speaking of pricing, I never really mentioned this, but the full price of River City Girls 2 being $40 is honestly insane for what kind of content is here. Streets of Rage 4 with the Mr. X Nightmare DLC, or TMNT Shredder's Revenge with both of its DLCs, is a much better deal with how much content and replay value they both have. And both of them have functional online co-op to boot. But that's just a problem with the game itself, not with this DLC specifically. But speaking of which, in the years since I made my video on River City Girls 2, my opinion hasn't really changed. For the most part, the gameplay is fun and the music is fantastic, but it's severely brought down by almost everything else. The story and writing is somehow worse than RCG 1, the voice cast and direction is okay at best and baffling at worst, the minigames and design decisions throw off the flow of gameplay hard, the bosses are some of the most annoying and ridiculously designed bosses in any beat-em-up I've ever played, the slog it takes to 100% it, and the potential this game had that was built up from RCG 1 is almost completely squandered. And to go back to responding to comments, specifically this person that pointed out something that I forgot to mention is that the way forward that made such amazing games like Double Dragon Neon and the early Shantae games is not the same way forward as they currently are. The old way forward still lives on though in the form of Yacht Club. And since they started doing other IPs like Cyber Shadow and Mina the Hollower, I think it would be really cool to see them do a beat 'em up in an 8-bit or even 16-bit style. But like I said earlier, WayForward is literally not the same as they used to be, and unfortunately, as of right now, for the worst. And one last thing. I know that my stance on this game isn't really the popular opinion, and I've definitely seen some people disagreeing with my takes, and you know what? That's perfectly fine, as long as you can actually back up your claim that I'm wrong about something that you like about this game. Or maybe you like something that I don't, and that's also fine. The main reason I even did this entire video series in the first place was because there were some serious flaws with each of these games that I wanted to talk about and point out. But another reason is because I've always wanted to and love doing videos like this. It's fun to discuss and talk about elements of a game or something else you like or even hate, and put that out there for other people to see. So I hope that if you agree or even disagree with what I've said about this entire series, that I hope that you were at least entertained. Now let's see if I can put this video out before WayForward announces more River City Girls 2 DLC that adds Godai as a playable character.